What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunched Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Ben Whittaker. Ben Whittaker responds to Chris Eubank Jr.'s call out, okay? And we've heard backstory before I begin. Chris Eubank Jr. a couple of weeks ago said that I think that would be a sexy fight, whatever the hell that meant, between him and Ben Whittaker, you know? And he said, I don't know that was a conversation to entertaining brash fighters who would love to put it on the line and show off that in the ring. Of course, that's a sexy fight. That's what Chris said, right? He said, I've watched him. It's pretty insane how popular he is in terms of social media. He is getting a lot of attention. I don't know how many fights he's had, but he hasn't fought anybody, okay? That's what Chris Eubank said. He said that's really what England needs. It's a very rare to see that in the UK. That's not many fighters that get that type of attention. Now, in response, Whittaker refused to turn the opportunity to fight Eubank Jr. at a catchweight and encouraged Saudi kingpin Turki Al-Sheikh to set the event up. He said, of course, never say never. He classed it as a sexy fight. I would say that it's more of a beauty and the beast. It's a good fantasy fight. He has got a great name, and who knows? It would be a one-off fight, and it would have to be a catch weight of some sort, hopefully around super middleweight. If he is game, then I am game. Tell Turki Al-Sheikh to set it up. I am always with that. Those are the words of Ben Whittaker, and let me counterpunch. Ben Whittaker, let's look at his record for a minute, you know? Okay, box rec. Box rec. This man has 8 fights, 5 KOs, no losses, no draws. Okay. And, you know, I would have to go ahead and agree with Chris Eubank Jr. He's getting a lot of attention, but he hasn't fought anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, fighting someone like Chris Eubank Jr. in his 30s, in his pretty much he's headed into his mid 30s, right? He's like 34, 35, you know, and to fight a guy like that, you know, now Turki Al-Sheikh would probably set it up, but I think that's a bit premature for Ben Whittaker. I think they should let that marinate. This man needs at least 10 more fights, 11 more fights before talking about fighting someone like Chris Eubank Jr. Now, here's the unfortunate thing. Father Time. By that time, and 11 more fights, depends on how active Ben Whittaker is. It will take him probably a year and a half to 2 years to get that type of experience under his belt. Well, in 2 years, where does that leave Chris Eubank Jr.? That leaves him where? 36? Right? How old is he anyway? Let's check out Chris Eubank. He is 34. September 18th, so he'll be 35. So understand this, man. This guy is 35 years of age this year. By the time Ben Whittaker gets the experience that he needs, that would make sense for a fight like that people may seem interested. Well, for one, he has to be tested. For two, he has to get, you know, his stripes. For three, you know, when you're dealing with that type of fight, I don't think, I'm tired of these fighters, you know, that are new and new kids on the block and they're hungry. Sure, they should want to fight these guys, but that doesn't mean it should happen. Chris Eubank Jr. wanting that because, you know, I understand Chris Eubank Jr. Chris Eubank Jr. wants any fight that requires him to make some M's. And he knows that Turki Al-Sheikh makes M's, and Ben Whittaker knows that. That's why Ben Whittaker said, call Turki Al-Sheikh, because Turki Al-Sheikh will pull out that suitcase on you and start serving people those M's. Now, when I mean M's, I mean millions, people. Because he's not going to play around, especially if a fight like that is in demand. But is it in demand? No, not really. You know what I mean? Unless people looked at Chris Eubank Jr. as just a washed-up fighter. In at age 34, yeah, he got his pound of flesh against Liam Smith, but he took it to Liam Smith and showed Liam Smith, like, hey, that was just a fluke, and I'm back, and I'm better than a lot of people think that I am. right? So I don't think that there's a big demand for Ben Whittaker. I think Ben Whittaker is exactly where he needs to be. The new kid on the block that's causing shockwaves with a flamboyant attitude and his charismatic Prince Asim Hamed style that, that getting everyone's attention. People are liking it. I have friends and people that'll call me, that'll hit me up, don't even watch boxing. They're like, hey, have you ever heard of Ben Whittaker? And this is around this area. So, yeah, he's making a name for himself. And I think Chris Eubank Jr. is just trying to pretty much attach himself to that and try to get that money that he lost against Conor Benn and all that clomiphene stuff. If you guys can remember that, because that fight was supposed to have been already done, signed, sealed, delivered, fought, and we were supposed to see who it was, but due to positive tests, we didn't see that fight. But most importantly, Chris Eubank Jr. didn't get paid. And I think Chris Eubank Jr. is after those M's. So that's why he's like, hey, if Turki Al-Rashid can make it happen, let's make it happen. But I want to tell you guys about what Whittaker said. He said, well, you talk about like the sexy fight, but Mona is like the beauty and the beast. And I'm thinking he's the beauty and Chris Eubank Jr. is the beast. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Ben Whittaker responding that, hey, anything is possible. Never say never. Whatever's clever. Bars. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!